Good morning, 4th and 5th grade. This is Miss Porter, your art teacher. All right, good to see you guys. I came on to give you a little bit of information on how to do your first virtual assignment. You will be reviewing the elements and you will be learning the principles of art. We didn't get a chance to go through the principles of art last year, but to the students who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. So just a real quick refresher, your elements of art are the materials that you need in order to create art. It's almost like having ingredients ingredients for a recipe. If you're making cookies, you need sugar, flour, butter, chocolate chips, eggs, so forth and so on. So in art, we need elements and principles. Every piece of art that you see uses some combination or all of the principles and elements of art. So your elements: line, shape, color, value, texture, form, and space. There are 7 of them. There are 7 principles of art. Those 7 principles are unity, balance, proportion, emphasis, variety, pattern, and movement. And you guys will be refreshing and learning those. While doing so, you will be doing a manipulative, something that you can hold on to and go back and use for a frame of reference. So here's an example of one that I did for the elements of art. It's kind of like a little booklet. So at the top it says elements of art. Then I've got line, value, shape, color, form, space, and texture. And if you look closely, you can see each of those words is on there. But I also did an example. So for line, you can have different types of lines. When doing your work, you're going to be researching and looking for the definition. So on the outside, you'll write the word. On the inside, you'll put the definition and maybe write some examples. So a line is a point that's created by moving. It's basically the movement of a point from one place to the other. And you can have horizontal, vertical, diagonal, zigzag, wavy, broken, and that's what goes inside. But out here is the artistic part of expressing what that definition is. Value is how light or dark a color is, and it shows you the green goes from light to dark. Form is a 3D version of a 2D shape. So over here I have shapes. We know shapes: circles, hearts, rectangles, octagons, pentagons, stars. Over here we have the 3D form. So the 3D form of a square is a cube. Circle is a sphere. Rectangle, rectangular prism. All right, circle. Where's another circle? Circle would be cylinder. And then the triangle is your triangular prism or your pyramid. Over here is color. I just chose to do the color wheel and the rainbow, but you could color the whole background in different colors. You can be as creative as you want. Here we have texture, and I just put different texture. Texture is how something feels. So when I rub my hair, it feels a certain way, or my shirt, it feels smooth. In art, we have to create what's called implied texture, how something looks like it feels. So that looks prickly like a cactus, but that's based on how I drew the lines. That looks slimy, all right? Broken or cracky, curved. So I need you to put some examples of some texture. And then over here, space is how you use the blank empty space, all right? It's showing that things are above, below, around, in. Although this is a flat surface, it looks like you can drive into that sheet of paper, so it gave it some depth. And that's what space is basically about. It's not like outer space, but it's how do you utilize the positive and negative space that's on a sheet of paper. So again, this was a fold type manipulative. This is, and you would, if you do this style, you can do one for the elements of art, and then you do another one for the principles of design. So you would have 2. Here is another way that you can create one. You'd have one sheet for the elements of art, another sheet for principles of design. And all I did was, and I'll show you how to make them, but each element is in a different section. Here is a different one. And I did this 2 different ways. You can either do it landscape or portrait. On this one, I'll show you how you can put the elements of art on one side and the principles of design on the other side. without them bleeding through. I happen to have two sheets of different color paper. So this one is green and this side is white. So I'll show you how to do that. Here is another method. It's where you can flip it open because you cut the paper. So line is here and you would open it and you have your definition inside. All right. So you would need one for elements of art and another one for principles of design. You'd have two. And one more version is basically just using squares. So the purple section would be my 7 elements of art. My green section would be my principles of design. You don't have as much space to be creative, but again, I want it to be your choice. I want it to be fun. I want it to be something that you enjoy doing. So I'm going to show you the different ways to create these charts or pamphlets or brochures, but I call them manipulatives because it's just something that you can tangibly hold in your hand and go back and look at later. And our next assignment after this one, you will be using the elements of art to create artwork. So I want to show you how to make this one first. I'm going to pull my camera down so that you can actually see my workspace. So you're going to hold your paper horizontally or landscape. You're going to fold it in. Try to get it as centered in the middle as possible, and if not, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So it's almost like you did just a little book. Okay? I'm now going to fold my paper in half. I'm going to fold it in half again. And the reason we're folding is so that we have even sections. So when you get done, it'll look something like this. And we're going to open it and we're going to draw lines. So the reason we have those folds is to show us where our lines go. So all I'm doing is just drawing a line. And now my middle is divided. I'm going to fold it back in because I need a line that goes down the middle, and I can use this as a guide for my line that goes down the middle. All right? And you can use a pencil, that way you don't make a mistake like I did. Now on the front folds, you're just dividing it so that you have 8 sections. And now you have something that you can make similar to this one. So the elements of art label would go on one flap. And then you would section off and do all the 7 elements in the other empty sections. All right, so that's your first sample. Your next one I'm going to show you is how to make this one. Again, you would have to make 2. You'd have to make 2 of these. You'd have to make one for the elements and another one for the principles. Same thing with this one. So the way this one works, hold your paper portrait, fold it in half. Then you would fold it in half again. So all I'm doing is folding over, fold in half again. And please go back and rewind this if you need more time. And we're going to fold in half one more time. Kind of feels like origami a little bit. And then when I open it, it feels kind of like an accordion. But I now have 8 sections. So all I'm going to do is open. Just pick a marker. And I'm just going to draw my 8 sections on the right side of my paper. All right. While this is still open, you're going to cut on those folds. So I'm on the opposite side, not where my lines are. I'm cutting on the opposite side. And I would just continue that until all 8 have been cut. And remember, you would have to do one for the elements, and you'd have to do a whole different one for the principles. Now, if you want, you can do one design. So maybe this one is for the elements, and this one's for the principles. It's up to you. I just want, like I said, I just want you to have fun. So we're going to do principles of design. And then you would just go through and write all 7 principles. All right? That is your second example. Your next example is, we'll do this one next. I don't know if I showed you guys this one or not, but this is, yeah, I think I did. This is another one. So again, you would need 2, one for elements, one for principles. This one is kind of fun to do. We're going to fold our paper in half. We're going to fold it in half again. And then we're going to open it. We will draw our vertical line. Horizontal. And this time we're going to go from the center to the edge. From the center to the corner of each corner of the paper. So we're already using one of the elements of art called line. And then we would choose which area we wanted to put either elements or principles of design in. And you can be creative with this. I don't care how you decorate it, but you would go and put all 7 of the principles and show an example. All right? So that's this one. So notice on this one, I just did different types. And I would actually color all of these. I wouldn't have them in black and white, but I just wanted to show you some examples. The next one is, we'll do this one next, because you can actually put the elements and principles together. So on this one, you would fold your paper in half. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to fold in half. Fold in half. And fold in half. So we have something that looks like a square. All right, I'll do that one more time. So we started with our paper this way. We fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half, then fold it over. So that when you open it, you'll have 16 sections. And then I would just maybe do purple up top. And those folds are just for you. And I'm going to do elements of art. And I would do all 7 in there. Then maybe on the bottom I use a different color. Let's do green. Principles of design. And again, you would do all 7 principles there. All right. And then there's one more. This one, the reason I'm going to have you do it this way is because if you use a Sharpie or a marker, I don't want it to bleed through. So we're going to use a glue stick if you have one, and you're going to glue 2 sheets of paper together. You don't need a whole lot of glue, you just need these 2 sheets to be able to stick together. Try to get those corners as close together as you can. Alright, so now that it's glued, we're going to fold our paper in half. Alright, so it looks like a hot dog. Then you're going to fold it in half this way. And it's a lot thicker, so you have to be careful getting those edges lined up. And then fold it one more time. And then you're going to open it and you will have 8 sections on the front, 8 sections on the back. And I'm going to use something that's kind of like a Sharpie so that you can see that it won't bleed through. So if I just drew on this sheet of paper, see how it bleeds through to the back? That's why we doubled it up. We don't want it to bleed through. So I'm going to draw on my middle fold and then each section. Now look, can't even see those lines on the back. That's why we did a double. Now on the back, I can go ahead and divide. And this is really cool because this way you have everything all together. On one side, I would do my elements. And on this side, I would do my principles. And voila, all done. Now, just FYI, if you did want to, so let's say this was your elements and your principles, instead of having 2 sheets, you could actually glue them together. Even with this one. So if you had your elements of art and your principles, you could glue them back to back. Just the folded part though, because you still want this part to be able to open and close. So you would just glue back to back. Alright? And you could do that for any of them. Even the ones that you cut. You could glue them back to back. Alright, so have fun, be creative. You will be getting a grade for this. And hopefully it helped you to have me show you some different things that you could do. Again, most of your art will be choice-based, which means you will have a choice because I don't know what everybody has at home, so I need you to be able to use whatever you have. But I did send a supply list, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye-bye.